break and joins us now from London. Richard.
Lester, it is now in 160 countries and territories. There are only about 190 countries and territories on the globe, so it truly is a pandemic now. Here in Europe, there is rationing at supermarkets. Borders seem to be closing every single day. In Italy, the people get together. They are watching the TV at 6 o'clock every evening. The newscast comes, and it announces the daily death toll, and that death toll continues to go up. Germany's Angela Merkel says this is the worst crisis her country has faced since World War II.
Never in peacetime has the world looked like this. Cities across Europe now desolate. The people too scared or not allowed to go out. But finally tonight, some good news from China. It's seeing no new domestic infections. The bad news is the cost was freedom. In January, China locked down more than 50 million in its hardest hit province, dragging people away who didn't comply. I spoke with one of the UK's top virus trackers, epidemiologist Neil Ferguson, himself in isolation. He tested positive for the virus today.
Does the United States need to go like what China did?
I think in the short term, those are the only options. Unless you roll out testing on a massive scale and innovative approaches to contact tracing and isolation of cases, which the Chinese are now doing, and that's what Korea is doing.
When I saw what happened in China and the huge, tremendous restrictions, do you really think that's what we should be living with until we have a vaccine?
I think there are probably a range of models of how to do this. The Chinese adopted one approach, which has come at a significant social cost.
In Spain, France, and Italy, they've chosen China Light, nationwide lockdowns without the repression. People can go out for essentials, and yet the death toll continues to climb. Today, a grim milestone in Italy where the number of fatalities has surpassed those in China. I spoke with Mattia Ferraresi, a journalist based in Rome who was one of the first to write an op-ed telling Americans to wake up. The virus is coming.
What would you say now to an average American, a young person who's feeling pretty good and might not feel that this is going to directly impact him or her?
Don't be selfish. It's the time to prove that you're not the only one person existing in this world, and a lot of things depends on your own action.
Now, Lester, Professor Ferguson told me one of the big dangers of this virus is its easy ability to overwhelm medical systems. And that is because he says about 5%, only 5% of the people who get coronavirus need to be hospitalized. But of that 5%, about a third of them need intensive care, need to be on ventilators, and that very quickly overwhelms systems.
Yeah, the experiences overseas certainly being watched carefully here. Richard, thank you. Let's continue now with our crisis.